Now, we've got terrible outcomes for children in institutions. We've got ethology studies showing that there are other ways that parent-infant bonds can form. We've got Harry Harlow, who's done specific tests and shown that, at least in the case of monkeys, babies prefer to cling as opposed to feed. That's really kind of the death knell for dependency theory. So who's going to step into the void? Believe it or not, it's a psychoanalyst, someone trained in Freudian psychology named John Bowlby. He read ethology, he read the animal studies. Most importantly, he had spent a lot of time in his early clinical career in the orphanages, and he saw that dependency theory didn't work. So he came up with a new theory that we now call attachment theory. It's a slight shift. It may seem subtle, but it's actually very profound. He said that a baby loves his mother not because of the stuff she provides, but because of something intangible that she provides: security. The infant is motivated not by anything physical, but by a feeling of safety. Babies love their mothers because that's where they feel safe and secure. And when they're close to their mothers, that's where they are safe and secure. Bowlby's was an evolutionary theory. He said that evolution has equipped us with a system called the attachment behavioral system, and he likened it to a control system. He said, okay, well, a control system is a thermostat. That's the classic example. What you've got is a system that's designed to maintain a steady state. The set goal of a thermostat is the temperature you set it at, say 24 degrees. And as soon as your environment deviates from that set goal, the system turns on. If it gets warmer than 24, the aircon kicks in. If it gets colder than 24, the heat turns on. Bowlby said that's the kind of system that we've all inherited in the form of the attachment behavioral system, where the set goal is proximity to the caregiver. Why is that evolved? Because that's where, as babies, we're safe. That's where we're likely to survive. Babies want to be close to their caregivers because that's where they have the best chance of growing up. The behavior is turned on until the set goal is reached. As soon as you take a baby away from its primary caregiver, you get this. System turns on, and you see crying, whining, clinging, approaching. The behaviors take lots and lots of different forms. That baby has learned that crying and whining will get his caregiver's attention and get him closer to the caregiver. So he's going to do those things. For most of them, it's crying because we don't like the crying. So we approach and we do something to try to stop it. That's what the system looks like turned on. There's the set goal. It's been reached. All these babies are in the arms of their mothers. I don't know if you recognize, on the left-hand side, that's me many years ago. That little girl is now an adult. But then, as a baby, she's in her mother's arms, and she's happy. She's got a little residual cling, but otherwise, her set goal is fully reached and her system is turned off. Let me now show you a dynamic image of the attachment behavioral system at work through separation and reunion. This is a 1-year-old baby boy. He's in a room with his mother and a stranger. Mother leaves. Now watch the system turn on. Mother comes back. Watch the set goal get reached. You would have seen many of these through your life. All good now. There's Mommy. As soon as he's in proximity, everything is turned off. Baby said we're all born with this system, that it's one of the most important behavioral systems that we have because it ensures our survival. It's every bit as important as feeding and mating, all of which are also essential for survival. He said that the onset of the attachment behavioral system is timed with locomotion. It begins to develop in the first few months of life, but then really kicks in once babies start being able to crawl around on their own. Now remember, babies are born with already a preference for attending to people's voices, a preference for their own mother's voice, a visual system that enables them to memorize the faces of their primary caregivers, and prefer their smell as well. Over the first few months, babies are developing a strong representation of their primary caregiver, and they start showing attachment behaviors. But once they can locomote, then the system really kicks in. Why? Because that's the point when they are most vulnerable. If they don't have an attachment behavioral system that maintains proximity to their caregiver and they're crawling, they can just crawl right off into the night. So the attachment behavioral system becomes very strong just when babies start to locomote. And indeed, at around 9 months is where you see the strongest stranger anxiety. That's where children who used to be pretty happy to go sit on Auntie's lap now don't want anything to do with Auntie. They just want to stick close to Mother. That's the attachment behavioral system really kicking in. Here's a perfect example. Babies crawling into a potentially dangerous situation and constantly looking back in order to ensure that the primary caregiver is maintaining proximity. It doesn't have to be skin-to-skin proximity, but you'll find that children always want their parents watching them and within a certain distance. Just go to the park and you'll see it. As soon as they start doing something that's halfway dangerous, it's, "Mom, look at me. Mom, look at me. Mom, watch." They want to have that contact when they're moving into danger. If Mom starts to walk away, that's not good enough. They're going to follow her to maintain certain proximity. Bowlby presented this new theory to the British Psychoanalytic Association in the early 1960s, and he published it soon after. When he presented it to the Freudians, they didn't like it. In fact, he was nearly booed off the stage during his keynote address because they were all dependency theorists. It completely mucked up their Freudian view of what babies were capable of and where the basic attachment comes from. So he kind of left that licking his wounds a bit. After he published attachment theory, then slowly, non-psychoanalytic people started to get interested. Now, what are your thoughts on attachment theory? Do you think it's a good alternative to dependency theory? Bowlby spent a lot of his time in orphanages, where many, many children ended up during World War II. What should we do in such a situation? There are many children without parents. It was clear that the orphanage system wasn't very good for children. What would be the practical implication from Bowlby's attachment theory in this situation?